Hi, Imperfect Life Insiders. This is Camille with Imperfect Life. And today I want to talk about 10 lessons learned living with grief. So, as a person that has experienced grief with losing my cat Dusty, you know that that is one of the hardest things in the world to experience losing or the death of a beloved pet. Pets are family, as I've expressed before, and that was one of the hardest things in my entire life I've had to go through. But it's a couple years have passed by now, and I am in a much better space. But I learned a lot of important lessons along the way working through my grief, and I wanted to share those 10 lessons with you. Maybe these lessons will resonate with you, or maybe you are new to the process, going through the grieving process, losing a pet recently, and maybe these tips may help you. It may be something you experience to come in the future. So I hope you find this helpful. So, first up, grief creates gratitude. That's number one. Grief creates gratitude. We as pet parents adore our cats, our dogs, our birds, horses, whatever. They are family to us, and we already have a great sense of gratitude when they are here. But when they go, it just going through the process of grief makes you reevaluate everything in life and also gives you a greater sense of gratitude when it comes to cherishing what you shared with your pet. Number two, can help you engage with your life. And what I mean by this is going through the process of grief, you will feel depressed, you will cry, you will have sadness. But also going through these steps and working through your grief, it does force you to re engage with your life, whether that means finding a brand new routine to figure out since your pet passed away. It also means, in some instances, if you get professional help, re engaging in your life with support groups, talking to other peers. In my personal instance, my path to finding healing through grief involved volunteer work. So that was a way to re engage myself back into community and get re engaged with my life and establish a new routine for myself in a positive light while also impacting others positively and helping animals. Number three, grief cannot be solved by avoiding it. Definitely, grief cannot be solved by avoiding it. You want to, well, you don't want to, but you need to work through your grief. Everyone deals with grief differently. There is no time limit on grief, but no, one of the important lessons, you do have to address your grief. And the quickest or the most essential part of healing is not to go around the grief, it's to go through it. So you go through the storm and you will come out the other side a much stronger person. Number four, grief can help you refocus. Grief can help you refocus. Like I mentioned before, when you go through the grieving process, especially if you're a person that has one pet and has passed away, you find that you have to reshift your life. And what I mean by that, you have to readjust your daily routines, your daily habits. So that forces you, sorry, that forces you to have to refocus. Instead of, if you have a dog, instead of a morning walk in the morning, maybe it's taking 5 minutes in the morning to either meditate or pray or just have a moment of silence for yourself, or even exercise, something to practice self care, help you refocus. Also, instituting new plans or new routines. In my case, not only did I incorporate prayer as a portion of my personal faith, but also part of my routine was getting involved with volunteer work. So that added activities during the week that I had to schedule in to help me on my path to finding healing. So that was a way for me to help refocus and not harp so much on delving so deep into the pits of negativity that comes with grief, depression, sadness, crying. You have to learn to climb your way to the top to find a better way to find and cope and find healing. So that's number 4. Number 5, life does not stop. That's part of the process of regrouping. Life does not stop. Everyone has stuff going on in their lives, whether it's grieving a pet, divorces, marriages, accidents, so many things, craziness, pandemics, disease, illness. Life does not stop. The world keeps spinning and it keeps on moving. The best thing we can do, one of the lessons I've learned just in life in general, is you have to be a person that adapts to change, because there's one thing that is only guaranteed. Everyone will pass away. What is it? Death and taxes? The death and taxes, but also change is inevitable. Life does not stop. So just keep that in mind. You have to find a way to keep moving forward. And our pets are so resilient in so many different ways. They always find a way to keep on moving. So that's another lesson. Number 6, you can move on knowing that things cannot get worse. So with this in mind, for me, like I said at the start, when I went through the grieving process, losing my cat Dusty, this hands down was one of the most, if not the most hardest, most difficult, challenging experience of my entire life that I have gone through to date. And I'm here to talk about it a few years later. I'm here to talk about it and helping other pet parents, sharing my story, and know you can get through this. And that experience, there's only going up from there. So it cannot get worse than what you're experiencing right now. So just hold on. There will be a better day. Next, number 7, bitterness only creates more pain. So I want you to remember, as hard as it is and as difficult as it may feel, because you may not feel you want to be bothered with anything, or maybe be a Grinch, but bitterness only creates more pain. You have to find a way to work towards accepting it. Maybe you have exceptional circumstances and how your pet passed away. Maybe it was a freak accident. Maybe your pet was, God forbid, hit by a car. Maybe after your pet passed away, they lost their ashes. It could be an exorbitant number amount of things I can't even imagine, but I can totally empathize with those that have gone through such unforeseen events. But no, bitterness only creates more pain. Accept the fact that humans are flawed, and you have to find a way to accept that, yes, the circumstances may not be right, and that's not fair. But personally, I'm a big believer in karma, first of all. But just know that what goes around comes around, if that gives you any type of small sense of solace. But use whatever that experience is not to make you bitter, but make you better. Okay, number 8. You'll find out who your real friends are. So this is really true. I'm lucky I had a great support system with my friends, but you will find, just like I mentioned in another post regarding 5 things you should never say to a grieving pet parent, you will find that sometimes people say very insensitive things. Most times it's intentional. What comes out of their mouth can be very insensitive. You may find that some friends may, when they found out a loved one has passed, meaning one of your pets, they may disappear. They may say things like, it was just a cat, a dog, a bird. Their life was short anyway. Why are you having them cremated? When are you going to get another one? You'll just find out who your friends are in this process. It's not always pleasant, but at least you know where you stand. So just FYI. Number 9, you can overcome anything. I touched on this earlier, going through the grieving process and going through the storm, and you'll come out stronger on the other side. Just know you will come to a place of healing, and you will be stronger, no doubt, after this experience. Absolutely. And number 10, last one, you'll become less small minded. What I mean by this is you will take value in the greater picture, the bigger picture. You will not sweat the small stuff. So if you've ever heard that experience, you will not sweat the small stuff. That's basically what I mean. You will become less small minded. It's not about these little trivial problems in life. Going through the grieving process makes you value life in so much, at such a greater level. You know what's important. You know things like love and unconditional love is so invaluable. The time you spent with your pet, so invaluable. Just greater life lessons. So those are 10 lessons I learned going through grief. You can read the full post on the blog. I will leave in a link in the description below. I hope some of these tips and lessons have resonated with you. Leave a comment if it did. And until next time, I will talk to you later. Take care. Bye.